we're developing a society because of all of these different toxins known to affect brain function. We're seeing a society that not only has a lot more people of lower IQ, but a lot fewer people of higher IQ. In other words, a dumbing down, a chemical dumbing down of society. So everyone's sort of mediocre. That leaves them dependent on government because they can't excel. We have these people of lower IQ who are totally dependent. Then we have this mass of people who are going to believe anything they're told because they can't really think clearly. And very few people of very high IQ who have good cognitive function who can figure this all out. And that's what they want. So, you know, you can kind of piece it together as to why they are so insistent in spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars of propaganda money to dumb down society.
Did you know 1/3 of students entering college need a remedial or a developmental course, a class in the basics of reading, math, English, covering material that they should have learned in high school? Bill Bennett is a CNN political contributor, former Secretary of Education for the Reagan administration. Bill, what is the problem here? Are high schools not aware of what's expected in college, or do the curricula just not line up?
Dumbing down of almost everything. Grade school, middle school, high school, and college. That's the problem. When I toured the country, when I was Secretary of Education, went to 120 schools, what I found was this. Everybody at every educational level above 3rd or 4th grade believes the fundamental educational work was done at the immediately preceding level. Therefore, they do creative this, revisionist that, special aspects of who's doing the basic work. And a lot of the basic work isn't getting done. When you add to that, Christine, the fact
why doesn't higher education have higher expectations? Is it because
it wants bodies? It wants bodies.
As long as somebody's paying the bills, that's what it's all about?
Pretty much it is for a lot of institutions. Now, the very selective institutions can...
Let me ask you, what is the thrust of your beginning the book with the quote from Jefferson? Are you prophesying here that having dumbed down, we cannot also be free?
I consider it a cautionary quote. If things keep going the way they're going, if there isn't some kind of a concerted effort to deal with this problem, I don't see how anything in our political culture can get better.
But you seem to be, still to me, you seem to be kind of so uneasy about that Jeffersonian thought. Here it is. You can't dumb down and be free.
I am uneasy about it. I mean, we can be free technically in the sense that we go to the polls, but certainly the founders thought, it was really their main article of faith, that democracy and maintaining it depended on an informed citizenry, a citizenry that was much more widely informed and more committed to free inquiry than the United States was at the time of independence. That's why they had a lot of faith in education. But as your old teacher Hofstadter pointed out, democratization of education was always coupled in America with a suspicion of too much learning. So that the idea of practical learning for better jobs and maybe better citizenship was always an American ideal. On the other side, it was always this suspicion of the person who knows too much, talks too good.
So the pandering isn't all that new.
No, the pandering isn't all that new. But what has changed in the last 40 years, and again, Hofstadter couldn't have anticipated this. He was writing really at the beginning of the video culture. What has happened, I think, that has added to all of the endemic American anti-intellectual tendencies that Hofstadter talked about is the saturation of our culture by 24/7 infotainment, which was just beginning. And it shows itself in the fact that we are becoming a nation not of illiterates, but, as I say, of alliterates. We are people who increasingly don't read books. According to the National Endowment for the Arts in 2006, only more than half of Americans under 44 read no book at all last. By that I mean no book. I don't mean that they didn't read Proust or Henry James. I mean that they didn't read any book. No detective story, no bodice ripper romance, no self-help book, nothing.
Then you agree with my other late friend, Neil Postman, that we are amusing ourselves to death.
Yes. And Neil Postman's book, which was published in 1986, was very prescient. He was published that book at the dawn of the computer era. In other words, he hadn't seen what the visual use of the web would do, and how greatly enhanced the ability of people to entertain themselves 24 hours a day would be by mobile digital technology. We've become so used to this. And the fact is, it's only 10 to 15 years that we've had the capacity, through various portable devices, to carry our entertainment with us 24 hours a day if we want to do it. And if you ride a bus in New York City, you know that a lot of people do want to do it.